You led this company almost 10 years. You've been at this company for decades.
4 decades, 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
How different is Coke today than when you started?
Oh, metamorphosis. 40 years ago at Coke, we hardly knew what a fruit tree looked like. And today, we have more than 20 million fruit trees under plantation around the world in 4 continents, and we're the largest supplier of juice. We were essentially for our first century a one brand, one product business, and now we have almost 4,000 products. It's a continuous evolution, and one that is changing its pace to one that is faster. And we're witnessing huge changes in the consumer and landscape, and I think we're keeping ahead of those.
There have been significant changes even since you stepped down as CEO last year.
Yeah.
Are they coming faster at Coca-Cola now?
I think the consumer is changing faster, and so they have to come faster everywhere, not just at Coca-Cola. Companies that have to serve their consumers have to stay ahead of the change. And yes, consumers want more choice than ever before. They want differentiation. They want personalization. And we have to stay ahead of all these trends.
You've also watched the cola wars over the years, ebb and flow. Where do they stand right now, Coke versus Pepsi?
I think it's always a nice media story, the cola wars. But at the end of the day, competition is healthy. Competition is good. And I just always hope that it will be here to stay. A strong competition, a healthy competition, fair competition is here to stay. It makes everyone better.
Well, it makes Coke better in the stock market lately.
Without a doubt.
You have overseen a number of different macroeconomic environments, including the financial crisis. How would you characterize the current environment?
Volatility, and more unknown. More unknowns. I think just running a global business is just getting tougher and harder. It's getting more complicated. Not just the environment of information, but also the socio-political dynamics around the world are making it harder, I think, with more unknowns, more volatility, constant volatility, with bigger increases both on the high end and the bottom end of that volatility. And so that's the world that we live in, and it's going to be here to stay. I don't think it's something that's cyclical and it's going to pass.
The markets certainly have been pretty turbulent lately. Concerns about global growth, are they justified in your view?
I think there's not just one reason why the markets are volatile. I think there are multiple. Perhaps sometimes the market runs ahead of itself and then pulls back. But I think there is just a lot of political uncertainty in the world. Brexit still has to land wherever it's going to land. Everything that the U.S. is going through has to, basically settle down. The trade wars. There's just so much that is happening all at the same time in the world that I think emerging markets are under duress. With interest rates rising, the emerging market currencies have really melted in many parts of the world.
You've done so much business in China. I'm sure you have great relationships there. Where do you think this trade fight between the U.S. and China is headed?
I think for the benefit of both countries and the world, it will get solved. I believe I'm a realistic optimist. And I do believe that for the benefit of both countries and both economies and the benefit of the world, it will land in a place that is not perfect, but better than where it stands today.
So when you see a story in the news like this week where the CFO of Huawei gets arrested by U.S. authorities, do you worry about Coca-Cola having the presence in China?
Of course I worry. Of course I worry when there's a trade war and where tariffs are being put on each other, when there's an incident like that. Of course I worry. But as I said, we don't see a direct, immediate impact because we're not considered. We are, of course, the quintessential American brand, but we are so local. Our ownership in China is Coca-Cola CoFco Beverages. CoFco is the largest Chinese company. It's a state-owned company. We're also owned by Swire, which is, again, a Chinese enterprise. So from that perspective, we are very local.